What's going on, guys? It is Wednesday, the 30th of October, 2024. Tomorrow's Halloween. Awesome. And it's 11:25 a.m. here in Germany. This is the Insanity Report for today. And we've got some new news about Israel. So Israel has now passed two laws within their Senate or within their governing body that effectively bans the UNRWA, which is the United Nations Relief and Works Agency, I think. Anyway, they are apparently pretty much the only organization that is able to provide some relief within Gaza to the Palestinian people that are suffering under war conditions down there. So they are able to bring in food, they're able to connect them to water, etc., etc. And Israel has now passed laws banning any people from the IDF or any Israeli nationals to work directly with the UNRWA, and also they're not allowed to operate in Gaza any longer, which, I mean, pretty much means that the remaining people alive in Gaza aren't going to be getting any more humanitarian aid, effectively, right? Now, I thought, because I've watched a couple debates about this, or quite a few actually, and I thought that Israel didn't necessarily have control over Gaza, right? People were saying, oh, but Israel's not allowing water in, and they're, cutting off their electricity, and they have control over everything, and, open air prison, and blah, blah, blah. And that's what I thought. I thought, well, that's probably overblown, right? That's probably, kind of going too much on the side of the Palestinians. I'm sure that Israel doesn't have an interest in actually cutting the civilian population in Gaza off of, the things that they need, like electricity and water. And I guess they don't have that much control. But, of course, we don't really know a lot of stuff about this conflict other than the information that we get secondhand from completely unreliable sources, I might add. But this source is Israel itself. Israel itself has said, yes, no, we've passed two laws that's going to ban the UNRWA to work inside of Gaza. So they do have control over what goes on in Gaza, and they are, they have taken a vested interest in cutting off civilians in Gaza from water and humanitarian aid and food and electricity and whatever, because practically the only organization providing any of that is the UNRWA, and now Israel has actually passed laws making it that they are not allowed to operate in Gaza. Yet, I don't know, I thought Israel governed Israel, and they didn't govern Gaza. So how do they get to decide that? But it doesn't really matter, all the nuances and all the snide back and forth lying about what Israel is actually doing, which is massively killing a whole shitload of innocent people in order to achieve their goal, right? And they don't really hide what they're doing. They're not trying to hide it. They when you hear debates from either side about it, the Israel side does try to, put into context, but we're killing X number of civilians for X number of Hamas people. First of all, how they would be able to know that, and how they can calculate that, and how they can go in after they've bombed the shit out of somewhere and calculate how many people are combatants and how many people are actual civilians is unclear to me. I think that is complete bullshittery, this whole numbers game that they're trying to play. It doesn't make sense. Who's in there counting the shit, and how are they able to distinguish? Nobody's ever told me that. I don't believe it's a true number, and I believe there's no way they can tell. Fact is, they're killing a shitload of civilians in order to achieve their goal of eradicating Hamas, which I understand completely. If I was Israel, I would probably have the same goal, but I would probably go about it a different way. It's not smart for them to massacre, tens of thousands of innocent people in Gaza just because Hamas is bad. Okay? If the cops catch a murderer, then they know who a murderer is. They're going after the murderer and they're hunting him down, And they don't just go to the house of the family of the murderer and slaughter the whole family and the whole neighborhood that he lived in. That's not the way enforcement works, right? You get the bad guys. You don't just kill a bunch of innocent people in order to get the bad guys. That's what Israel's doing. And now they have openly admitted that they are also passing laws to stop the UNRWA to go into to go into Gaza and provide humanitarian relief to the remaining civilians, of which there can't be that many, in Gaza. And I don't see what their reason for this is. Now, their reason, what they say it is that the UNRWA is effectively working with Hamas, right? So they're part of they're like Trojan horses or something. They're insurgents. Yeah, that doesn't seem believable, even with evidence. You know what I'm saying? Which isn't proof. There's a difference between evidence and proof. Remember that. That doesn't seem believable, even with evidence. And since Israel has none that they've provided, it doesn't seem believable at all. Basically, what they're saying is the UNRWA is providing relief to the civilians in enemy territory, and therefore they're working with the enemy. That is a great rationalization there, but that does not fly to rational, clear-cut, critical thinking people like myself, I have to say. So no, I think that's insane. And they obviously do not care what the sentiment of the rest of the world is on this anymore, right? As long as they have money backing from America and weapons backing from America, basically as long as America seems to have its back, Israel will continue to slaughter everybody that stands between them and Hamas or Hezbollah or whoever that they want to get rid of. And I'm not going to discuss the reasons or any of that shit. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. They're going to continue to do this, and they're going to continue to ratchet it up unless America says enough is enough, right? Because then they just won't be able to continue this path. They can't have everybody in the world against them. They feel like as long as America's on their side, it's cool. But a lot of the world is not on their side. They don't agree with what Israel is doing. They do believe Israel has a right to defend itself against the terrorists, which they've pretty much done now, right? And again, when you're trying to get bad guys, you get the bad guys. You don't go after their whole family and the whole neighborhood and everybody they ever talk to. That's insane. And so Israel's standpoint on this is insane, right? It is insane. It's madness. And yet none of them will actually ever come out and say it on any debate or any public forum, as far as I know. And there's been a couple people that have come close, which I respect, because they're saying, look, whatever it takes. You know what I mean? When they're asked how many civilian casualties are worth your goal, and they say whatever it takes, that's an honest answer, because that's what they mean and that's what they're doing. And it is, I don't know how to explain it. Why would they want to ban an aid agency, the UNRWA, to go in there and help give Palestinian citizens a relief, food, water, electricity, etc.? Why would they want to stop that? Because they're part of Hamas? Right. Okay. Why else? Why else? What are the two reasons that are available in any logical thinking brain that would explain why they would want to ban the pretty much only relief agency that can get into Gaza and work in Gaza and has done so in the past for decades? Why would they want to ban them? Well, one is that they're actually part of Hamas, which seems quite unbelievable. Okay? And two is they want to kill everybody there. They want the people and everybody there as weak and uncombative as possible so they can go in and eradicate everybody there. They want to take control back over Gaza, complete control, right? Not half control like they've always had, but now complete control over Gaza. That's what they want to do. And organizations like the UNRWA will identify the war crimes they're committing, and that's probably why they don't want them there, right? They don't want them there because they don't want them talking out of school about what's really happening in Gaza. It's the same reason why Israel will not allow Western journalists into Gaza. Western journalists have been in wartime situations right on the battlefield, wearing body armor and the whole shit, in wars since I've been little. Just in this one, they're not allowed in because of safety concerns. Right. Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So Israel is banning journalists, and the only relief aid organization that is possible in this situation that would certainly come out against Israel if they saw war crimes being committed in Israel, now are getting evacuated and banned from the area by Israel. So you think about that how you want, people. I'm just giving you the information. I guess you've got my opinion on it. I guess you understood. So I don't know. Pretty weird, right? Pretty weird. I don't think Israel is being completely honest at all about their intentions here. And they also don't care what the rest of the world thinks about it, obviously. They're just getting more bold. They're becoming more emboldened. And that is because, in my opinion, America still stands at least somewhat behind them, and they feel like that's all they need. But I think they are making a giant miscalculation, and it's it's basically ruining the view that people have of Israel and Jews in general, which is too bad, because many Jews, most Jews are probably awesome people. You know what I'm saying? And if there is any rise in great anti-Semitism, I think that that's also how the Jewish communities and the Israelis perceive it. Because to them, a lot of time, the ones that can't think clearly, they're like, okay, well, if you support Palestinian innocent people, then you are basically on the side of Hamas, and therefore you are anti-Semitic. That's not exactly how this works, right? But I do believe that Israel's actions are causing people to become anti-Semitic and think, no, this is unacceptable. So, the social capital they've built up since World War II is being completely eradicated by the policies of the Israeli government in this war. And I think it's the dumbest mistake they could have ever made. But we will see if I'm right in the end or not. So guys, that's the Insanity Report for today. If you guys want to get my stuff automatically in your inbox when it comes out, whether it's an article I write, the Insanity Report, the new show I'm doing, which is going to be What is Your Representative Voting On, where I highlight a representative from Congress and the bills they are voting on, so that people get animated to do the same thing in their state, so that they vote more informed. That's really important. People have to be more informed and make better decisions. And the only way to do that is to look at the voting records of the people that you elect and see if they're voting for things that coincide with your values or not. So if you want any of those things, all my content centrally, directly in your email inbox as soon as it's published, all you have to do is subscribe to the Substack. The links are below. You can do that for free, or you can do it for $5 a month. Either one is fine for me, although of course I'll appreciate getting a $5 a month sponsorship from anybody out there who thinks it's interesting enough to do so. And that's the easiest way to get all my content. If you're watching this somewhere else, like on Rumble, X, TikTok, or something like that, then go ahead and follow me there. But in the end, it's easier for you and me if you just go to it'sallaboutlogic.substack.com. That's it'sallaboutlogic, all one word, .substack.com, and subscribe there. Get all my stuff in one place. All right, guys, have a great one. We'll see you tomorrow.